From great stories to tales of intrigue, we present WCRS Radiostage. Please join us for this exercise of imagination with radio drama. Today, a just-in-case murder mystery by John S. Drew. That sound tells us there's only 15 seconds until curtain time, so get comfortable in your chair as we go to Studio X, and WCRS Radiostage presents the story, Murder in a One-Horse Open Sleigh.
Ladies, gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to the Westchester Mall's annual Christmas celebration. We hope you've enjoyed this evening's festivities. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. You better watch out. You better think twice. He's going to find out who's naughty and nice. Santa Claus is coming to the mall. Yes, it's Santa Claus, all the way from the North Pole. He's brought sacks full of goodies that he's donating to the local charities for the lesser fortunate children. And you can visit with Santa every afternoon and evening during regular mall hours until Christmas Eve. Don't worry, kids, Santa's got the elves working very hard to make sure your toys are ready for Christmas Day. And now Santa is going to say a few words as his sleigh stops just outside the entrance to the mall. I'm sure he's got something special to tell us all.
Ho, ho, ho!
Oh my God, somebody just shot Santa Claus! Please, everyone remain calm. Can someone call an ambulance?
My name is Just In Case. I'm a private eye. My background? I've solved some of New York City's highest profile murder cases. I was just thinking to myself early one pre-Christmas morning how I needed a high profile case to get my name in the papers again when fate handed me an opportunity.
Good morning, Mr. Case. Come over here and take a look at this.
You know I don't understand much about computers.
But look at this news article I'm reading.
The New York Times? You're reading the New York Times on the computer. I spent thousands of dollars for this computer for you to read the New York Times when you could get a copy of it from the newsstand for $1? I swear.
Calm down, Mr. Case. You know I use this for more than just reading papers. It's got our entire client database, reports from past cases, and much more. But I think this article will interest you.
Chinese delegate to appear...
Not that one. This one.
Sorry. Santa Claus murdered in Westchester. Sounds interesting, but what does this have to do with me?
This is the high-profile case you've been grumbling about for weeks. The one that will get the name of Just In Case back on everyone's lips.
I agree with you that figuring out who killed this poor guy would be a feather in my cap. But there's one problem. Who's going to pay for me for my time?
Think of it as an investment, Mr. Case. In the long run, you'll make a lot of money.
Which would be nice if the bill collectors were willing to wait. Besides, I've got a case now, one that pays.
You're not going to make much money peeping in windows looking for proof that Mrs. West is cheating on her husband.
No, but I'll make enough. I'm sorry, but unless it can be worth my time now, it's not worth doing. Yes?
Just In Case.
That's me.
I'm Joseph Levins. I'm the owner of Levins Department Stores. I need to speak with you, Mr. Case.
I'm afraid I don't have much time right now, but if you would make an appointment with
Please, I can't wait. I need your help now. I saw the way you handled the Farber murder.
You did?
Yes, I was at the Henderson estate when Farber was murdered.
All right. I can spare 10 minutes. Won't you have a seat?
Thank you.
I took stock of Mr. Levins as he settled into the chair. He was a short man, stout, with stubby fingers on fat hands that he waved around as he talked. He was dressed sharply, probably fitted by one of his own tailors. My first impression was that he was in his mid-40s, but looking at the age lines that crossed his face changed my mind. He had to be in his 50s. Now, why don't you tell me what all this is about?
Well, I'm representing the store owners of the Westchester Mall. I don't know if you're aware of what happened last night, but our Santa Claus was shot and killed as he entered the mall.
Melissa was just showing me the story.
Charles Fahey was a well-respected man in the community. He has portrayed Santa Claus in many situations over the years, and we were fortunate enough to have him at our store this year. Someone killed him, Mr. Case, and we want to know who did it. The police are looking at this as a random act.
You don't think it is?
We, the owners of the businesses at the Westchester, don't. I can see the reluctance in your eyes, Mr. Case. I'm in the position to offer you $2,500, your expenses for a week up front, and the rest on completion of the assignment.
I can appreciate that, Mr. Levins, but you see, I'm currently working on a case.
I can take it.
What? You?
Sure, why not? It's only surveillance.
But you don't have a license. If you're caught...
Then I won't be caught. You have to take this case, Mr. Case.
That's funny, Case, Mr. Case.
Yeah, hysterical. Well, it seems you've hired a private investigator, Mr. Levins. My first stop in the investigation was to talk with those who were on the sleigh with Fahey when he was shot. Wanted to see if they saw anything. I'm not a tall man, so I never talked with anyone I couldn't look directly in the eye. It was a bit disconcerting to walk into a room filled with such short people. I never knew Santa had so many elves.
Can I help you? This is an employee area.
Sorry to disturb you. My name is Justin Case. I'm working for Mr. Levins. I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions about Charles Fahey.
Anything we can do to help. You're a detective?
Yes. Can you tell me what kind of man Charles Fahey was?
Just an all-around nice guy. He not only looked like Santa Claus, he was Santa Claus. He was generous, kind, and always in a jolly mood. Why anyone would want to kill him, we don't know.
So he didn't have any enemies?
No enemies, but there were those who were jealous of him. Getting the Westchester Mall Santa gig is one step away from moving to Macy's. And that's the cream of the crop when it comes to Santa jobs.
You know anyone who was openly jealous or opposed to Mr. Fahey being Santa here?
Nobody who spoke out, but there were others in the running for the job, I understand. The Santa School would have that information.
Santa School?
Being Santa is more than just sitting in a chair and saying ho, ho, ho. It's a persona. The Westchester Mall, Macy's, most of your major department outlets use Santas from the Santa School for their stores. We have to attend a class ourselves to be Santa's selves.
You mean you wouldn't want to be Santa?
I'm not exactly the right size for it.
Excuse me? I've got a Santa suit here to deliver.
Oh, thanks. You can leave it there.
Right.
What's wrong?
Oh, it was just that this was Charles's suit.
Got it back from the police already? I would expect they would have held on to it for evidence.
There has to be a mistake. This isn't his suit. It's too small. Charles was an extra large.
What is it?
The suit's been altered. I guess the big boys have made a decision on whom to replace Charles with.
That was fast.
It's Christmas. I gotta make sure the shoppers are kept happy.
Well, thanks for your help.
Good luck. If you get in a fight with the killer,
Yeah?
make sure one of those left hooks are from me.
I will. Well, will you look who's here. If it isn't Bruno Connors.
Case? Don't tell me you're snooping around here looking for exposure again.
Come on, detective, that's not fair. I was hired to look into this case, as I was Russell Stern.
I'm talking about the way you one-up Commissioner Hawkins a few months ago. It didn't look good for the commissioner to lose control of his investigation the way he did.
Look, I'm sorry about that, but I was sort of asked to look into it, too.
Yeah, by the killer. So, what have you found out so far?
Not much. Why? What about you?
You know I'm not going to reveal details of an ongoing police investigation. Have any leads?
I do have some leads. I'm going to have a talk with Mrs. Fahey in a little while.
Waste of time. She isn't a suspect, and she can offer no real information on who would kill her husband.
So the police aren't just looking at this as a random shooting.
Oh, they are, but I'm not. I mean, who would want to kill Santa Claus?
Some guy who didn't get the erector set he wanted as a kid?
That's not funny, Case.
Never thought I'd see the day when Bruno Connors would have a sentimental side. Look, here's my card. Call me if you come up with anything.
I told you.
I know. But just in case you change your mind. And I still have your card in case I need to reach you. I'll be in touch. Wait a minute. This is out of your jurisdiction. This is a Westchester County case.
If it's any of your business, Case, Thomas Fahey was an old friend of mine. We grew up together. I was there when he was shot. I made a promise.
Say no more, Detective. I'll be in touch. My next stop was to the home of the late Charles Fahey and a talk with his widow. If Charles Fahey was the image of Santa Claus, then Mrs. Fahey was Mrs. Claus. She was short, round, with a face full of kindness. But today she was looking tired and sad. Despite that, she was gracious, allowing me time to sit and talk with her about her husband. I want to thank you for seeing me, Mrs. Fahey.
Don't be silly, Mr. Case. I'll talk to anyone who can help me make sense of this senselessness.
From everyone I've talked to so far, his death is quite the surprise.
Mr. Case, if there was ever anyone who should have been called Santa Claus, it was my husband. He was just a large, full-of-life person.
I know this is difficult, Mrs. Fahey, but I had to ask. Is there anyone who wasn't fond of him?
None that I can think of. The police asked me these same questions, you know.
I know. But sometimes all you need is a little time to think them through.
Mr. Case, you didn't know my husband, but I can tell you that all the time in the world wouldn't make me think that anyone would want to shoot my husband.
Nobody.
Well, I'm sure the other gentlemen from the Santa School were disappointed that Charles got the job at the Westchester, but it's not something you would shoot a man over, is it?
The Santa School?
Charles was a graduate and a teacher there. He worked his way up from being a Salvation Army corner Santa to the Westchester Mall. There was a good chance that Charles was going to move on to Macy's in another year or two. The Santa they have now is getting on in his years.
Your husband was a young man for portraying Santa Claus.
He was young for his age, but he looked older. He made it a point to keep his beard snow white year-round, even though he didn't have to.
What I'm trying to get at is that your husband was relatively young and in good health. He would have been Santa for Macy's for a good number of years.
He certainly hoped so.
Let me ask you just one question. Your husband took an extra-large Santa suit?
Oh, heavens, yes. Charles didn't need any padding for his suit. His jolly belly was all natural.
Thank you so much for your time and hospitality. Again, I'd like to express my condolences for your loss. I will find out who did this to your husband.
I hope you do, Mr. Case. It's not going to make my Christmas any better, but maybe Charles will be able to rest a little easier.
My next stop was the Santa School. That was its official name, the Santa School. Felt like I was wandering into an episode of The Twilight Zone as I first arrived a little over a half hour after my interview with Mrs. Fahey.
Ho, ho, ho! Ho, ho, ho! With more heart! Ho, ho, ho! Ho, ho, ho! One more time! Ho, ho, ho! Ho, ho, ho! Hold on a minute, fellas. Can I help you?
Sorry, I think I took a wrong turn. I'm looking for the administrator's office.
It's just at the end of the hall.
Thanks. Carry on with your ho-ho-hos.
Come in.
The Santa School was located on the third floor of an office building. The school rented the floor once a year. I entered the administrator's office. The room was featureless, gray walls with a small metal desk and phone. Several boxes filled with files were stacked haphazardly in a corner, looking about ready to tip over. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, that's me.
Johnson, the school's administrator, was a man in his mid-40s. He looked like one of Santa's elves as he sat behind the huge desk. I saved him the trouble of getting up from his desk by leaning forward to grasp his hand. My name is Justin Case. I've been hired to look into Charles Fahey's death.
Oh, yes, the detective. Levins told me you might be stopping by.
What can you tell me about Mr. Fahey?
Salt of the earth. A real class act. I'm sure you've spoken to others about him. He not only was Santa Claus in various situations, but he also taught classes here at the school.
Can you think of anyone who would wish him harm?
That would want him dead? No, I can't imagine anyone would want him dead. There are probably some more ambitious men here who would have wanted to see something happen to him so that he would have had to step down from the Westchester job. But would they want him dead? I doubt it.
Can you tell me about the others who were up for the job?
Well, there was Myers. He was Levin's second choice. He's a younger man, small in fact, but when he puts on the suit, he can transform himself into Santa Claus.
So why didn't Mr. Levins hire him?
Why hire an imitator when you can get the real thing? Fahey was Santa Claus.
And the other two?
Peters is an older man. He was actually my last choice. He wasn't exactly a good student, but when it comes to the Santa school, there's no such thing as failing. Everyone gets placed as a Santa. They might only be Salvation Army Santas standing on the corner, ringing a bell for donations, or they could be shopping mall Santas interacting with children. Perhaps in time, Peters might make a decent Santa. And finally, there's Bork. He was a strange one, but whenever he put on the Santa outfit, he would pull off the part.
Strange? How?
He had a tendency to talk to himself, even when there were other people with him in the room. You could be having a conversation with someone, and he would be standing there having a conversation with himself. Very strange.
I don't know if it's a motive for killing someone.
I find it hard to believe that anyone in this school could be capable of such an act.
It's my job to look into every possibility, Mr. Johnson. Do you have the personnel files on these 3 students?
The police have already examined them. It's really against our policy to make them available to anyone.
I can appreciate that, Mr. Johnson. But if I could look through them for just a moment, I might find something that could help me.
Well, all right. Give me a moment to get them from the boxes.
As Johnson went through the orderly mess that was his filing system, I couldn't help but notice a copy of the laundry bill for Fahey's Santa suit on top of his invoice box. Mr. Johnson, have you made a decision regarding who's going to replace Fahey?
What? Oh, yes, Myers, of course. No one could replace Fahey.
Of course. When did you make this decision?
Why, just about an hour ago. In fact, I called Myers to come in and to give him the news personally. I've got to prepare him to deal with the children who are going to ask him about seeing Santa getting shot.
Have you his file there?
Yes. Here it is. I'll have the others for you in a moment.
Thank you. He was definitely a much smaller man. I glanced at his application, which included his measurements for a Santa suit. Did Mr. Myers have a suit of his own?
There were Santa suits that the students trained in. Each job had its own Santa costume. Some had a belt, while others didn't. That sort of thing.
So the Westchester Mall Santa suit was unique?
Exactly.
And the suit was tailored to Charles Fahey?
Both suits. The Westchester Mall provided 2.
Why do you have a copy of the laundry bill? Doesn't the Westchester pay for it?
Oh, they do. I just keep track of what local laundries charge for their services. I can then recommend the good ones to my students.
Then you have no clue as to why Charles Fahey's suit was tailored the day before his murder.
The day before? I don't understand.
This laundry ticket is dated the day before he died. It's for some tailoring that isn't for Charles Fahey. Take a look at this.
Why, these are Myers' measurements.
Exactly.
Then you think he did it?
I think it's pretty certain.
Then we need to phone the police. Myers is on his way here now.
Hold off on that call. This evidence could be refuted. We need absolute proof. We need a confession.
What do you suggest?
Let Myers know you've gone with someone else. Give him some story about how he just wasn't cut out for the job or something.
But if Myers is the killer, it'll put whoever I say has the job in danger.
No, Myers won't get that chance. May I use your phone a moment?
Certainly.
Connors, it's Case. Cut the wisecracks and listen. I have our man and I need your help to nail him. Can you meet me at the Santa school? Good. Get here as soon as possible.
I'll do what I can.
Don't be nervous. Just give it to him straight. My partner and I will take care of the rest.
Very well. Oh, dear. He's here sooner than I thought.
It's all right. I'll be just outside to keep an eye on him.
Thank you. Come in. Myers, good to see you. That will be all, sir.
Yes. Thank you for seeing me. The hallway outside Johnson's office was empty, making my listening at the door much easier.
Have a seat, Myers.
If it's all the same to you, I'll stand. I'm a little nervous.
Understandable. These past few days have been a little nerve-wracking.
So why did you call me, sir?
I wanted to tell you that I hold you in high regard, Myers. You're an excellent Santa Claus.
What, you said that before, sir. That's not why I'm here.
No. As you know, a decision has to be made quickly in regards to finding someone for the Westchester Mall. I've spoken with Mr. Levins, and the merchants of the mall have made a decision.
Which is?
I'm afraid you didn't get it, Myers.
I didn't? But I don't understand. I was a shoo-in. I mean, if there was anyone else besides Fahey to be the Westchester Santa, it was me.
You're right. And I told the merchants that, but they had a choice of their own.
Who?
The man who just left the office. His name is Carney.
That was nice work at Johnson. He made sure none of his people were placed in danger.
But who is he? He's not even a student here.
Not from here. From a school on the West Coast.
Great. Some surfing Santa's going to take my place.
He's not taking your place, Steve. He's replacing Fahey.
It should have been me. I should have been Santa in the first place.
If you had, Steve, you would be dead now. Think about that.
Yeah, I'm real lucky. Look, I gotta go.
I moved quickly away from the door as I heard it open. A water cooler allowed me to hide myself from Myers' view as he exited. I followed Myers, hoping that Connors would get here soon.
Don't believe it. How could they turn me down again? I deserved it. I did. I am Santa Claus.
Connors wasn't here yet, but I knew I couldn't let Myers get away, especially when I saw him remove a gun from his coat pocket and check the rounds. Excuse me, I was wondering if you could tell me where the men's room is.
You! Stay still. Come to gloat, have you?
Not gloat. I don't beat a man when he's down.
I'm not down. I'm not out. This is just a setback. One I'm going to rectify now.
Put that gun away, Myers. You're not going to get away with this.
Yes, I will. The classes are being held now. They are making such a noise with their ho-ho-hos, they won't hear this gun go off.
But why are you doing this? It's a job that lasts only a few weeks. It makes no sense.
It's the world to me. I know everything there is to know about Santa Claus. The legend. The stories. According to legend, Santa paid the dowries of 3 women whose family couldn't afford it. He hurled sacks of gold through a window, one of them landing in a drying stocking. Thus, the stocking legend. There is also a story of how St. Nicholas raised 3 children from the dead after being killed by an evil innkeeper, their bodies diced and pickled in brine. It's more than just about a jolly old man. There is a history here, one I have embraced wholeheartedly. You can see I deserve this job just by looking at me in the outfit. This job was mine by right. Divine right!
You're insane.
Insanity to one is genius to another.
And Fahey?
A good man. I didn't mean to kill him. It's just that I'm not a very good shot with this. But I wouldn't try making a move. I can't miss at this range.
Neither can I.
Who are you?
It's about time you got here. Did you hear everything?
Every word. Now drop the gun. Slowly.
No, it can't end like this.
Look out. You all right?
I'm fine. He missed me. Come on, let's get him.
Ho, ho, ho! Ho, ho, ho!
From I can swear he came in here.
He did.
But where is he? There's got to be at least 40 Santas in here.
It doesn't matter. There's only one Santa with a gun in his hand.
Wait a minute,
Went out the other way.
Get back in line, students. Nobody's excused.
He's gone.
The elevator's going down into the parking level. We'll take the stairs. I hope you're in shape.
I can keep up. Now what?
I think I see him over there. Over there by the van.
We see you, Myers. You might as well give up.
Never!
I'll draw him out. You circle around and get him.
All right, as soon as you start.
There's no place left to run, Myers. You might as well give up.
As long as I have the gun, I have options. Come no closer. Wait a minute. Where's the other guy?
Here. Connors! I've been shot! Connors!
Damn, he's got me pinned down.
I'm the only Santa Claus, and I'm going to make sure that's the way it always is.
I had my eyes closed, partially because I didn't want to see what Myers was going to do to me, and partially because they were closed as I felt the pain from his first bullet in my arm. I thought I was going to die when I heard the sound I would have least expected.
Ho, ho, ho!
Case?
Connors?
What happened?
I don't know. My eyes were closed.
Look at Myers.
He's on the floor out cold. Did you do that?
Of course not. He had me pinned down. Did you?
No, I had my eyes closed, watching my life pass before me. Not enough there for a mini-series yet.
Yeah, nice work. Here, let me give you a hand up.
We make a nice team.
No, we don't.
Oh, come on, would you call this luck?
No, but...
Come off it, Detective. This went well for both of us. Look, if you ever decide to retire from the force...
I'd rather be a Buddhist monk. Let's get this trash out of here.
You sure you didn't clobber him?
No, I didn't.
But if you didn't, who did?
I don't know.
Did you hear laughter?
No. And don't start telling me Santa clocked him.
I didn't say anything. I'd help you with those packages, but I have to keep my arm set for another 3 weeks.
I understand. Wow, I never knew I could get so much with a 50% discount.
Just one of the perks of figuring out who killed the mall's Santa Claus.
Are you glad you did it?
Of course I am. A good man was killed and his killer was brought to justice.
And we got a nice stipend, plus these huge discounts.
It's nice to see where your priorities are, Melissa.
I've always looked out for you, Mr. Case. Hey, there's Santa Claus.
Yeah, they went with that Bork person. Works out pretty well, except for when Santa takes a break. He sits in his chair talking to himself, which has scared a few kids.
I want to tell him what I want for Christmas.
Melissa.
Come on, Mr. Case. It'll be fun.
Ho, ho, ho! Hello, little lady. And what can Santa do for you?
I want to tell you what I want for Christmas.
Well, sit on my lap and tell me.
All right, but watch your hands.
Ho, ho, ho!
Well, first of all, I want peace on earth.
That's nice, Melissa.
And I want success for Mr. Case in the coming year.
Thank you, Melissa. You're being very selfless.
And if he is, I want a big fat raise.
This isn't Santa Claus, Melissa. You're not going to get your wish.
Well, it was worth a try.
Ho, ho, ho!
Did you hear that?
Hear what?
It came from over here. No, wait, it was over here.
What is it, Mr. Case?
I could have sworn that Santa Claus was here.
Maybe he was. And maybe I'll get what I want for Christmas, too.
You don't believe me, do you?
I didn't say that. Merry Christmas, Santa. And a Merry Christmas to you, too, Mr. Case.
Merry Christmas, Melissa.
Today's program featured Brad Vincent as Justin Case, Ross Jordan as Myers, George Harrison as Johnson, Robert Quayes as Connors, Rebecca Marsh as Mrs. Fahey, David Crawford as Levins, and Katie Dunnigan as Melissa. Also appearing were Bill Breger, John Davison, Frank Snyder, Melinda Buchanan, Barb Bruno, and David Binkley. Murder in a One-Horse Open Sleigh was written by John S. Drew. Original music was performed by David Crawford. Theme music for WCRS Radiostage by David Crawford and Tom Holman. This program is produced in Akron, Ohio by David Binkley and David Crawford. I'm Joe Calley, asking you to join us the next time we open the curtain on WCRS Radio Stage.